Pumpkin guy. Hello, everybody, and look at this mess we got here. Look, Nubbins is here today. Hi, Nubbins. We're gonna clean this up. I thought I was gonna do movie reviews. This guy is a lifeless head and needs to be moved away. All right, there he is. I threw him on the floor because I don't care about his lifeless skull. What is that? Is that a cereal box? Flatiron building. Christ, I'm glad you're not an architect. This is terrible. Look at that. Like, people would die if they lived. It would collapse. You know, you shouldn't design a building that looks like it's got a free prize inside. What is this? You got some worried-looking punk guy. He's like, "Oi, I'm worried." Whatever. Get this out of here. I want to complain about movies. Get it out of here. Just take it and throw it in the trash. For those who don't know, during the week, I get stuck in a little box, okay? And then I got like a little VCR in there, and a cell phone, which for my size is like widescreen CinemaScope IMAX thing, right? So I tend to watch a lot of movies when I'm in the box. So this week, I went through a bunch of movies because, I got no life and I live in a box. So the first movie I went through was The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Now, if you've never seen a zombie movie, this is a good film. It's got like a little bit of humor. There's some zombie cats, which, frankly, they really should have done a lot more with the zombie cats. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the essential story is like there's a bunch of teen Cub Scouts that kind of don't want to be Cub Scouts, except that one guy who's like, "Oh, I want to be a Cub Scout forever because it's great." And the other two people are like, "God damn, we got to get out of the Cub Scouts because we ain't getting laid being a Cub Scout." And that's kind of like their whole thing. So the premise is kind of hoes before bros. But, there's kind of a message to it. And I think, where's that? Who's in that? I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid is in here. And apparently, he doesn't take steroids because he's a little guy. From what I've read, allegedly, you figured Arnold would be putting him in his little cereal boxes for the kids. But, apparently he's doing well as a parent because his kid is not jacked up like a wrestler from the 80s. So, good for him. So it was kind of an okay movie. The special effects and the makeup were pretty good. There's like boobs in here if people are into that. I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars if my opinion as a pumpkin means anything. But, if you've never seen a pumpkin, I am one. But what I was going to say is if you've never seen a zombie movie, God, I'm really tired. I didn't think this through. I said if you've never seen a pumpkin. Dude, start putting coffee in the box. Anyway, if you've never seen, like I said, if you've never seen a zombie film, this is kind of fun. It's a fun movie. But if you're like me and you have no life and you've seen like 8 billion zombie films, this is kind of bland and cliched. So it really depends on your zombie background. So, yeah, there you go. The other film I saw, give me a second, was Call Girl of Cthulhu. Cthulhu? What is he, Indian? Cthulhu. Hey, hello, my name is Cthulhu. I don't know, I can't do an Indian accent well. Cthulhu. All right, Call Girl of Cthulhu. Now, this is kind of a low-budget thing. For those who like nudity, it's in there in abundance. But it's kind of... I almost don't even want to say tasteful. It's just there, so there's like a lot of TNA for those who need that. For me, that's kind of a turnoff because, there was not a pumpkin to be seen anywhere. But, so the whole thing is apparently there's this call girl who's got this mark on her ass, which we see ad nauseum. And the some cult is looking for her to try to get like Cthulhu to come back. Cthulhu, fine, Cthulhu. Just try to get like Cthulhu or whatever to come back and run around and destroy the planet. So it's a little weird. It revolves around this artist guy who is kind of like all romanticizes relationships and stuff like that, and gets hooked up with this crazy call girl with the birthmark of the damned, apparently. Some of the acting is like, it's a little iffy. Special effects are more traditional with your rubber little monsters, and there's some tentacles in there for people who need tentacles. They're in there. So yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's the best film ever made, but considering the budget and all that other stuff, it certainly isn't the worst. So look at that. See, Call Girl of Cthulhu. It's kind of crazy. I mean, the title alone is like clever. So yeah, it's all right. I'd kind of give it a 2.5, 3 kind of thing star. I don't know. There's a lot of splatter gore too. It's like everywhere. It's splatter, blood. It's like oozes out of the screen. So if you're into that, there's blood too. So blood, lots of nudity and tentacles. I mean, that's kind of what everyone looks for in a horror movie these days, right? So yeah, all right. The other thing I saw. Now this is like an oldie but goodie. Look at that. Death Becomes Her. It's like, I kind of found this in like a bargain bin, and I never got to see it. And then I watched it, and I'm like, hey, this was directed by the Robert Zemeckis guy, and he was Back to the Future, and it's got these competing ladies who are really bitter at each other. They end up getting this like elixir of eternal youth, right? But there's a catch, of course, that, they have to kind of take care of their bodies, which they fail to do. So there's a lot of weird hijinks that goes on, and people like break their necks, and then they try to like cover it up because they're like still alive but dead. It's actually like a bizarre little movie from, I think, 92 or something like that. Could have been 95. I don't know. It's old. But it's good. I mean, I'd watch it repeatedly because, all the performances are okay. And I got to tell you, personally, I do not like Meryl Streep. She's in this, and I can kind of tolerate her. So, for me to overcome Meryl Streepness, that says something. And Bruce Willis is in here, but he plays kind of a geeky character. He plays a mortician. And, since all these people are getting messed up, he's got to fix them up. And it's kind of weird. It's like really dark and morbid, but hokey and campy at the same time. It's probably one of the weirdest films you're going to find from that era, And it kind of had a big budget, so the special effects for that time period didn't suck. So kudos to whoever made this. There you go. Death Becomes Her. Dude, I'm going to watch it again after I get off this thing because there's a lot of dots back here. I thought I was seeing those because I was so tired, but they're really there. So, yeah, I'm not seeing spots. They do exist. Okay, the other movie. Yeah, take that. Get me the other one that just wanted me to kill people. Okay, this movie. It's like, I never saw it when it came out. This was like that, what everyone called the quintessential 90s grunge era romantic comedy that everybody should see. Let me tell you something. The only thing you need to know about this film is it had a good soundtrack. Give me the soundtrack. Put it up there. Thank you. Wow, you did that right. It's a little crooked, though. Fix it. Thank you. Okay. The soundtrack is probably the best soundtrack for a film you're ever going to find from the 90s, okay? This film is, I want to describe it like Woody Allen shit out a grunge era romantic comedy. Like he didn't even try. The characters are to me. I mean, I know a lot of people hold this dear in their heart because it's like part of their childhood or whatever. But go back and watch this and you will cringe at how bad this is. Like every character in there I didn't like. Like not even a grunge kind of guy. There are some performances by like grunge era like artists in there. Like you see Alice in Chains and Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. Some of the guys from Pearl Jam are in there. And, you know, frankly, I'm glad Kurt Cobain wasn't in this because if he didn't kill himself because of this, you know, he would have after watching it because it was terrible. The writing sucked. The acting sucked. And I'm tired of those romantic comedies where they're like talking to the screen like, oh, I'm trying to find love. And it's so weird because I'm a 30-something in some grunge era thing and I'm going to clubs trying to just shut up. This was a terrible film. And regardless of what memories you hold, it is not a good film. Rewatch it. I swear to God, rewatch it. And you're going to be like, this was terrible. Okay? I know it was a thing back in the day along with that, what was it? Reality Bites? Yes, it did. Okay, I don't know what company or movie company was like, hey, let's exploit the grunge era and make it a romantic comedy that is so bad Woody Allen wouldn't even touch it. You know, that's what I walked away with this. And I'm like, God damn it, musical era comedy should not begin and end with this film. It should just stop. So, of course I did research because I'm a good guy like that. Get it out of here. Give me the good film. The good film I have to recommend. The palate-cleansing musical film. Okay, the palate-cleansing musical film that I encourage everybody to watch after the gag reflex, you know, takes hold from that other thing. High Fidelity with John Cusack. This is probably one of the best music-related comedies ever made. You know, it's based on a book, which means somebody knew how to write. And it's about this record store clerk who is in like relationships and stuff. It's still funny. It's interesting. The guy talks to the camera, but you don't want to punch him in the face when he does. So this is like, and I got to tell you, it is the most accurate representation of surly record store clerks I have seen in cinematic history. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, Empire Records, that's like, no, okay? This is it. This is where you go for surly record store clerks, okay? Good. You watch this, okay? This is your palate cleanser to singles, okay? So you want to remove vomit from your mouth, you watch this, because this is a good film. Soundtrack, I will say, is not nearly as good as the single soundtrack. I swear that movie was successful just from the soundtrack. See, that's how important music was in the 90s. You could just release a good soundtrack and everyone would go see the film. You'd be like, oh, the soundtrack is fucking awesome. Let's go watch this film. You know, I kid you not, man. That's how people rolled back then. So after you watch this and you realize comedies, romantic comedies revolving around music aren't fucking awful, what I encourage you all to do, assuming it's legal in your state, I would light up and watch Tenacious D's and the Pick of Destiny. You know, a lot of people don't like these guys because they're like kind of, oh, you know, it's Tenacious D, they're all stupid, and it's a good film. I don't care what anybody says. Both of the guys are funny. It's kind of hokey. It's weird. Dave Grohl plays Satan. I mean, come on. I mean, the music is good. It's like the best thing Tenacious D ever wrote, frankly. Well, maybe, no, the first album was a lot better. But no, this is good. It's better than their last album, which, whatever album that is. What is it, Rise of the Phoenix or something? I didn't like that. But this is good. So if you can light up in your state, do so, and then watch this, especially around the Yeti part, you know, or Bigfoot thing. It's ridiculous. It's like, I'm like, what is going on here? But yeah, Pick a Destiny. You know, I'm not spoiling nothing because there's some good jokes in there and things like that. And it's a fun watch. Um, so yeah, between this and what is it, High Fidelity, I think that would sufficiently make you happy and enjoy musical movies again. I mean, further viewing, you can watch what is it, Epic Records. You can do that. You can watch Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is very artsy, but the soundtrack is awesome. It's very good. It's got an awesome story. I got no problems with that movie. That's like top of my list kind of movie, frankly. But I got weird taste. So yeah, get this out of here. It's so weird the way it just stuck up there, right? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so that was it. That was my week in the box. I got to watch a bunch of movies, and some of them made me want to vomit out my own pencil innards. So that's it. That's all I got to say. I didn't do anything interesting with my life. Only so much can go on in a box. But yeah, if you want to check out something, just seriously with singles though, just get the soundtrack, ignore the movie, pretend the movie didn't exist. Pretend the movie was a bad video shot for the entire soundtrack. Okay? I mean, that's the only way I can equate it, is to a really bad musical video by, who even directed it? You don't even know. Bogdan, I don't know. I would look on the back, but I don't even care, because if I figured out who did this, I would have to send them angry hate mail. I know it's like 25 years old. Still, somebody should be held accountable. Anyway, whatever. Seriously, just soundtrack, put on your headphones, ignore the visuals. Why does this movie bother me so much? It like fails on every level. It fails on every level to amuse me. My God, it's terrible. You just want to punch everyone in the face in that film for being such a whiny little bitch. Men and women. They're all like, relationships. Oh, my God, get over yourself. Jesus. If I was them, I'd be like, fuck the relationship. There's so much music out there. I'm just going to go to the clubs and watch Alice in Chains play every night for the rest of my life until everyone dies. Who needs a relationship when you got fucking early Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and the rest of the grunge era, I mean, if I lived during that time, women would be like not even on my radar, because music would be so much more enjoyable. I'm not even kidding. I swear to God, I would marry a really good record before I married a woman. Yeah, I know women out there are going to be all like, well, that's fucked up. Hey, the same would go for you and guys. Don't even kid yourself. Sometimes a good song is better than any relationship you could ever be in. If you're open to it, if you have that artistic heart and that mind of connecting with the music and being at one with its flowy nature. No, I haven't been smoking anything. Jesus, man. See, look, see, you get people who are like, oh, look, you must be high because you're talking all art. No, this is how I feel, okay? Music moves me, and it's doing it now. No, that's supposed to be my exit. I'm leaving, but that was it. Music is moving me this way. That's it, I'm done. Goodbye! Stay away from this film, but buy the soundtrack. Seriously, that's the best advice I could give anybody. It's not go to school. It's not work hard. It's not love your fellow man and woman. It is stay away from this film, but buy the soundtrack. If we all lived by those words, the world would be a better place. What, really too harsh? Not harsh enough.